Today, we're talking about Michigan's primary elections, a mass resignation by the Palestinian Authority, the Supreme Court hearing a case about social media companies, and other top news for Wednesday, February 28th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the pour-over today. Here's the quote of the day. Living by faith includes the call to something greater than cowardly self-preservation. J.R.R. Tolkien. Let's get started with some espresso shots. Both Trump and Biden won their party's primaries in Michigan yesterday, as the first major swing state cast its votes without any surprises. Biden did face some ripples in the Great Lakes state. Some Democratic voters checked the uncommitted box in protest of President Biden's support of Israel and opposition to a ceasefire in Gaza. The push, backed by Representative Rashida Tlaib, former Representative Andy Levin, and the mayor of Dearborn, came primarily from southeastern Michigan, where 55% of residents are of Middle Eastern or North African descent. Speaking of uncommitting, RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel will resign after Super Tuesday to allow the party's next nominee to select a chair of their choosing. McDaniel was selected for the role 7 years ago by former President Trump, the party's presumptive nominee, who has been endorsing a leadership shakeup. Just as many Americans view the outcomes of foreign elections with a certain level of detachment, Christians view all earthly political outcomes, including the 2024 presidential election, as secondary to the campaign of our eternal home, where we hold our truest citizenship. 2 Corinthians 5:16, 19, and 20 says, "So from now on, we regard no one from a worldly point of view. God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting people's sins against them. And he has committed to us the message of reconciliation. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us." The Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority and his entire cabinet stepped down on Monday. The Palestinian Authority, PA, was created in 1993 to govern the West Bank and Gaza Strip temporarily. However, without a lasting agreement between Palestine and Israel, the PA has remained in charge of the West Bank, and Hamas seized Gaza in 2007. American and Arab leaders hope the cabinet's exodus will convince Israel to support the PA taking over administrative control of Gaza from Hamas, a post-war solution that Israel has thus far rejected. President Biden announced hopes that a weeks-long ceasefire would begin by early next week ahead of Ramadan, starting March 10th, which often sees heightened Israeli-Palestinian tensions. Back in the States, a U.S. Air Force member lit himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. to protest the war. He died from his injuries. War and the evil it exposes are a terrible reminder that the world is not as it should be. Seek peace where you are and trust that the Lord will end all war in his perfect timing. Psalm 46, 6, 7, and 9 says, "Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall, he lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us, the God of Jacob is our fortress. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth." Social media platforms are A, common carriers that must transmit information indiscriminately, like phone companies. B, publications with the right to editorialize, like newspapers. Or C, none of the above. No, it's not a middle school flashback. Thank goodness. It's the question before the Supreme Court this week. In 2021, when Donald Trump was banned from Twitter, Florida and Texas passed laws preventing large tech platforms from banning users or content based on political viewpoints. Representatives for the platforms sued, saying the First Amendment prevents the states from dictating what or who private companies allow on their platforms. Conflicting lower court rulings brought the test to SCOTUS's desk on Monday. Justices expressed concerns about both sides' arguments, and a final decision is expected this summer. Here's a verse to consider when you're deciding whether to post that opinion online. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Ephesians 4, verse 29. Yvonne's story is heartbreaking, but her hope inspires. Trafficked by the age of 11, Yvonne's life spiraled. Then, Shared Hope International intervened. Now, Yvonne is a wife and mother who dedicates her time to help children facing the same brokenness she did. Because of Shared Hope International, she helps others heal. Your donation will help to rescue children from predators, prevent future tragedies, restore survivors' lives, and hold criminals accountable. For as little as $3 a day, you can provide care and healing for a child who is a victim of human trafficking. And TPO is matching the first $1,000 donated to help children worldwide. Double your impact by donating through the link in the show notes. In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. Another government shutdown is looming. Unless a measure to fund the government or extend current funding on 4 spending bills is passed by Friday, a partial shutdown will begin Saturday. The second deadline is a week later. Bipartisan congressional leadership met with the president yesterday and emerged seeming optimistic, though the solution may be another stopgap. Maybe Hungary was just hangry, but it dropped its opposition to Sweden joining NATO, clearing the way for the Swedes to become the 32nd member of the alliance. Sweden applied alongside its Nordic neighbor Finland in 2022 after Russia's invasion of Ukraine broke both countries' long-standing postures of military neutrality. The widow of former Wall Street financier David Gottesman is taking on student debt the old-fashioned way, big-time charitable giving. Dr. Ruth Gottesman, former professor at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx, just donated $1 billion, the largest donation to a medical school in U.S. history, to cover tuition for all students, forever. In a major breakthrough for food allergy treatment, a study found that an asthma drug can protect children from severe reactions to nuts, milk, and eggs. After 4 months of taking the super easy-to-pronounce drug omalizumab, 67% of participants were able to eat 2 to 3 peanuts without a significant reaction. The FDA approved omalizumab for allergy treatment earlier this month. The Federal Trade Commission is suing to block the $25 billion merger of grocery giants Kroger and Albertsons, saying the deal would lead to higher prices on everything from cheese to Cheerios. The companies, whose merger would give them 13% of the market against Walmart's 22%, say the union helps them better compete with rivals, including Walmart, Costco, and Amazon. And that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great day. We'll see you on Friday. Most social media sells your data, peppers you with ads, and curates divisive content. Not Tuvu. Tuvu is wholesome social media built and moderated with the whole family in mind. Choose social media that uplifts rather than drains. Check out Tuvu, that's TUVU, at the link in our show notes.
Hey, Jason here. Are you tired of culture wars too? If so, check out the Truth Over Tribe podcast. It's too liberal for conservatives and too conservative for liberals. Patrick, a personal friend of mine, and Keith discuss culture, news, and politics, all while seeking to follow the lamb, not the donkey or the elephant.